What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome back to the Dapper Snapper Gaming channel, and welcome back to Wi-Fi Wednesday. That's right, another week, another team, another battle, and hopefully another win. Now, this week we're doing something a little bit different. This was supposed to be Friday's video, but some scheduling things didn't work out, and so today we're gonna have that battle, and I hope you guys are looking forward to it. What we're doing today is actually going to be introduce a new tier, a new competitive tier, and we're going to battle using that. So there's no tier between OU and Ubers. So OU is the top tier in competitive Pokemon, in competitive singles anyway. And then there's Ubers, which is everything that gets banned for just being really, really strong. And we recently had a ban of Zacian crowned from the tier because that thing is insane. But yeah, so things can get banned from Ubers. It happens. We've also had the same thing happen with Mega Rayquaza, but typically that's like the highest tier. That's where everything stops before you get to what's called anything goes, and that's its own thing. But so in Ubers, there are mons that were banned from OU, and in my opinion, they're really not that good, or they were banned before the metagame had shifted and before that anything has changed here recently. And so I think that they should be given another chance in OU. And so that's what this serves to be. That's what this tier serves to be. On this team, I have 3 of them and then some other things on the team. I'm going to explain the team after I explain the tier. But first, make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't already, share the video with your friends so that we can pick up some traction on this tier. Click the bell so that you get notified with all of my uploads, and leave me a comment down below letting me know what you think about this tier. If you would change anything about it, if you think certain mons maybe like are too strong for even this tier, if you think that there are ones in Ubers that you're like, yeah, this thing is really bad in Ubers, it could come down as well. I'd love to know. And we'll have a discussion as well on the Discord server, which a link to that is down below if you want to join that as well. So in this tier, we have several things. We have Darmanitan, Galarian form. We have Giratina Origin, Zamazenta Crowned. We have Zygarde, not with the 100% form. Only Aura Break would be allowed for that one. Yeah, because that'd be way too strong. We have Dracovish and Kyurem Black. I'm considering also doing Naganadel. I'm on the fence on Naganadel right now, but for now it's just those 6. And so I think they're really cool. I want to talk about each of them individually, and then I'll discuss what my team really is about. We'll start with the ones that are on my team, and then we'll discuss synergy and all that. Zamazenta Crowned. This thing in Ubers is really, really bad. It's just not good. Now, we're not talking about regular Zamazenta. We're only talking about the form that has to hold the Rusted Shield, so the big boy form. And the reason it's not good is for several reasons, right? Well, it has good speed. It has good defenses. HP is a little low, but that's okay. That's okay. 130 attack in the grand scheme really isn't that crazy. It's not. And it doesn't really have a great way. It doesn't get Swords Dance, so it can't like boost up like crazy. It doesn't get like Dragon Dance to boost speed, so most Scarfers are still gonna outspeed it. It is weak to ground, which is a big thing to be weak to. Ground types are everywhere except for on my team. But yeah, it's got a lot of things that are really bad. It also can't hold leftovers, Choice Band, Choice Scarf, anything like that, because it has to hold the Rusted Shield. And that's the biggest thing for me, is, you don't get an item. You don't get leftovers to run a bulkier set. You don't get a Choice Band or Choice Scarf to run a more offensive set. It is what it is. So essentially, you're not holding an item at all. And so that gives it a little bit of a disadvantage when it comes to other things that could deal with it, such as Galarian Darmanitan. Now, Galarian Darmanitan, in my opinion, should be an OU. It shouldn't even have to be in a tier between. I think Galarian Darmanitan should drop back down to OU. The reason being is because this thing was banned like 3 days after Dynamax was banned, and they didn't give it a chance to even really see where it was going to end up in the metagame. And in my opinion, I think that this thing would be just fine in OU. The biggest problem with this thing was Guerrilla Tactics, obviously, but then it could also just Dynamax to change moves. Guerrilla Tactic is basically just a Choice Band as your ability, and so it can run Choice Scarf or a Choice Band, and they do stack, and so this thing does big damage. But the thing is, it's based 95 speed. We've got a lot of things that are faster than it now, and it can't change moves now because of the Dynamax. So, you know, if it goes for anything besides Earthquake, you bring in a Toxapex and you're fine. You go for Icicle Crash, Ferrothorn can live one of those and can go for whatever it needs to go for. You know, goes for Flare Blitz, you can bring in something that resists fire. Like, there's not as much, you know, being able to change things on the fly with Darmanitan anymore. And then, of course, Zen Mode Darmanitan, which never was as good. I would be fine with them even if they brought down Galarian Darmanitan and banned Guerrilla Tactics, if that's what they had to do. But I don't think that Guerrilla Tactics is busted anymore now that Dynamax is gone. I really think that it's fine outside of a Dynamax metagame. And Giratina Origin, for a lot of the same reasons as Zamazenta, except I think that it's even more underwhelming than Zamazenta. Its typing's pretty good with Ghost Dragon, but I mean, it gets beaten by things like Dragapult. You know, Dragapult's way faster, and with 120 attack, I don't believe that you can OHKO it even with Shadow Sneak. It does get access to Poltergeist now, which is really cool, as well as Dragon Claw. It's had that. It works really well as a defogger, in my opinion. I think it's really cool. But it's 90 speed, 120 attack, which really isn't very good. It's not very good, especially for an Uber. It's terrible. And you lower your defenses when you're in Origin form. So yes, 150 HP, but you're also at 100 defenses. So, I mean, a couple big hits and this thing's gonna go down. You can Toxic it, you can burn it. I mean, there's a lot of things that can go wrong for this thing, and it doesn't get Recovery. If this thing had Recover, absolutely, don't let it back in. If it had Roost, absolutely. It doesn't get those. And so once your health is gone, it's gone. It can't hold a Choice Band, can't hold Choice Scarf, can't hold Leftovers, can't hold a Berry, can't hold any of that stuff, has to hold the Grisius Orb. And so for all of those reasons, I really think that this thing would be just fine. We've got Dracovish. Now, Dracovish is very strong, don't get me wrong. Dracovish is insane. However, given what else we have in the tier, I think Dracovish would actually be just fine. Zamazenta Crown comes in on it, and it can deal with it pretty easily. Giratina Origin, we can take a Vicious Rend or two and hit back really, really hard, or even just burn it, and then the rest of the team can deal with it. You know, I've got Rotom Wash on this team. That's specifically to help with things like Darmanitan, to help with things like the Dracovish. Rotom Wash really, really helps a lot, actually, in dealing with a lot of these threats that we've brought up there. Zygarde. Zygarde is very strong, obviously. Like, there's a reason it got banned, but Galarian Darmanitan wasn't here, and so Galarian Darmanitan can just kind of nay-nay it and just go nuts and destroy it with Icicle Crash. So as long as you don't let it get a sub up, then Galarian Darmanitan is just going to absolutely destroy it. And there are several other things. You know, if you had a Weavile, can also do a lot of damage to it. That would be a very viable option, because that also would really help against... it wouldn't help really against Giratina because you can't really knock off, but I mean, it's still going to do a good chunk of damage because, you know, Triple Axel's going to nay-nay this thing. So yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's totally fine. Kyurem Black, I mean, Zamazenta's going to do a lot of damage to that thing, and it's not going to be able to really do a ton back unless it carries the Earth Power. So I mean, it would be forced to carry the Earth Power, and Rotom Wash again helps with that as well. And yeah, I really think that that what we've brought down would really work well. So this team specifically, I think that this team works well. You know, we've got Zamazenta that helps me to deal with things like Dracovish, that helps me to deal with other opposing Giratina. Opposing Giratina really can't touch it. They can Will-O-Wisp, so we do have to be careful with that. But overall, it's fine. And again, and we can deal with the Kyurem Black as well, as long as it isn't Earth Power. So, I mean, that's fine too. Just can't really deal with the Zygarde, so that's why we have Galarian Darmanitan. We are Scarfed on this, that way we can beat any Choice Banded Galarian Darmanitans, and it still does a ton of damage. And it helps to check. It checks, it doesn't counter, it checks Zamazenta, it checks Giratina Origin, and it can do a ton of damage to everything else. So I personally like the Choice Scarf set, and I think it's really, really strong. So I think it's a lot of fun. Then we've got Giratina Origin to round it out. This thing can take the fire moves from Galarian Darmanitan that Zamazenta doesn't want to take, and Ferrothorn doesn't want to take, and then the Icicle Crashes, we could go into Rotom Wash. So, I mean, we've got a good core as far as, you know, we see what Darmanitan's going to want to go for, and we can switch accordingly. Next, we have Ferrothorn that can take a Vicious Rend all day long, obviously, and get the Iron Barbs damage. I like Iron Barbs here because it will do a significant amount of damage to the opponent as it keeps hitting you. We are Iron Defense on this because I really think we're going to see a lot of physical attackers. All 6 of the mons that we brought up are primarily physical attackers, and so I think that this mon is really, really good, especially if we get Iron Defense on it. Personally, this is the set that I went with, but honestly, a Leech Seed Iron Defense variant with the Rocky Helmet might be a little bit better for you. I think that would be something worth exploring, but again, this is the first battle in that tier, and so it's very, very new, so it's all good. Then we have a physically defensive Rotom Wash. Again, we've got 2 physical walls because I'm expecting to see a lot of hard-hitting things on the physical side, and Will-O-Wisp on this as well. So Will-O-Wisp is huge. I have double Will-O-Wisp here to burn all of these physical attackers. Pain Split for recovery, and then just Hydro Pump Volt Switch. Very, very common bulky set as far as Rotom goes, but I think it does really, really well in Ubers. And then finally, we've got a Tornadus Therian form. And this thing's really, really cool. I really like Assault Vest Tornadus Therian. This helps us to take some hits on the special side. We can take hits on the physical side too. 79 and 80 really isn't that great. Its defenses aren't fantastic, but I mean, the 121 speed, pure flying typing, it's really not that bad. And then Regenerator, of course, to get a lot of recovery back as we go. So I think this thing's really, really awesome. I used to use Assault Vest Tornadus Therian like in almost every battle back in like X and Y days, and I think it's a lot of fun. So that is our team for today. I hope you guys are looking forward to it. Today our opponent is Jay Haskell. We have battled him many times on the channel before. Always a good time, always a tough battle. He does really, really well. So let's go ahead and take a look at team preview. Here we go, and look at this. We've got a couple of mons from Ubers coming down that are now allowed in our tier here. So, and we also see Rotom Wash, which is pretty cool to see as well. I like Rotom Wash, especially a bulky Rotom Wash, because it's really going to help against opposing Dracovish and against opposing Darmanitan as well. So I think that this is going to be really, really fun. I think this is going to be good. Latios, I think, is fine as long as we keep Darmanitan around. I think that we can do just fine in this match. Ferrothorn also is really good against the Dracovish, and so we're going to lead Pharaoh. It covers pretty much, it covers most things. It doesn't cover everything, but it covers most things. And we can go ahead and get rocks up early. So yeah, good luck to my opponent. I'm looking forward to this. This is gonna be fun. It's gonna be great. All right, what you got? Darmanitan is the lead, so that's not good for us. That's very much not good for us. So we're definitely gonna want to get out here. So I'm actually going to go into Giratina here first. So the biggest reason that, in my opinion, that Darmanitan should come down to OU, or at least be in this custom tier, is, you can't Dynamax out of things anymore. And he goes for U-turn. That's a good play. See how much damage that does? That also seems to indicate that you're banded rather than scarfed. Because, I mean, that's a lot, right? Let's find out, shall we? Okay, so if you're scarfed, yeah, Bisharp is the switch. Yeah, you're banded for sure. It shouldn't be doing that much. Let me check the banded one. Yeah, he's choice banded, so that's good to know. Good to know. Does go into this, which is a good switch. Is a good switch in. Zamazenta's pretty safe, actually. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I want to save this for later, because it definitely could have some use. But yeah, we can tank a Flare Blitz decently well. So yeah, I want to go into this because knockoff, I don't really mind that. Life Orb, good to know, good to know. So we could go for a Howl here, but I don't think that's really the best thing yet, just because Rotom Wash can take a hit pretty decently. And you've also got the, what's it called? The Aegislash. Aegislash is actually quite good against Zamazenta. So you probably switch out into that now. So I think I want to double into Darmanitan, although that's a little risky. I'm gonna double Darmanitan. I think that's a fine play. Because I mean, you're not gonna click Iron Head on a Zamazenta and stay in when I could just click Close Combat and just knock you out. That doesn't seem likely. Yeah, we get the withdraw. And Aegislash. Exactly. Exactly. And I'm pretty free just to fire off a Flare Blitz here. I really don't mind you switching something else in here. I mean, it could be Latios, that's fine. I'm just gonna go ahead and fire one off. Actually stays in King Shields. Okay. So... Alright, that takes Flare Blitz out of KO range. So that's not the best. And this could go for a fighting type move. Let's go Tornadus here. Darmanitan's definitely something I need to keep healthy and keep around. It's gonna be very nice for the rest of the game, so definitely don't want to throw it away this early. There's the CC. Yep, makes sense. Makes sense. And this will be a free knockoff here against whatever. This is also Life Orb. Okay, good to know. But yeah, this is a free Life Orb. If you want to stay in, that's fine. If you want to switch out and let something else lose its item, that's fine too. I'm good with getting rid of some items. That would be perfect by me. So we do get the switch. That's fine. Into Latios. All right. I will happily knock this thing's item off. Nice. It is lefties. All right, and that's not too surprising. I'll go for U-turn here. I definitely want to save some HP on this thing and do damage to my opponent as well. So Latios is actually getting pretty low now, which I'm all for. It does get Roost, so that's a thing that it could do. And it does get Mystical Fire now as well. I'll go this. T-Wave? Okay. If anything's gonna get Thunder Waved, I'd rather it be this. I'm fine with it being this. Okay. I want to get rocks up here. May go for Mystical Fire. No, it's Recover. Okay. I mean, we can deal with this later. Darmanitan will run right through this thing. And this will discourage switching. So this is okay. So next, my next play. I'm gonna go Giratina. We do get the switch out, okay. Into Rotom. Man, if I had the grass move, that would be great, but I do not. I do not have the grass move, but that also indicates that this thing is the Defogger. Which would make sense. Lefties, further making it sound like that. If that's the case, this is gonna do about half. Okay, it's gonna do less than half now. It's gonna do about a quarter. Yep, so this is the bulky set. This is pretty much the same set that I'm running. It's pretty dang close. I just want to make sure this thing doesn't get off for free. And I'm okay with trading damage on my Giratina for damage on this, because this is what punishes my Darmanitan. This can switch in on Darmanitan pretty freely. This and Dracovish, they can take hits really well. And so I want to get this thing low. Because if this thing survives a hit from... If it survives a hit from Darmanitan, my Darmanitan gets burned and everything falls apart. So yeah, I don't want that. I'm gonna click Dragon Claw here. It's possible that we see a switch out into Latias because I've already knocked the item off, and so that makes sense to me. The switch out there. I'll predict that. Go ahead and do all that damage. Very good. Okay. So now, do I preserve Giratina? Is the question. I think I want to Dragon Claw again just to make sure this thing doesn't get to recover freely. Because even, I mean, we're doing about what this thing heals, maybe slightly more. It's close. It's close. The burn definitely stinks. I'm not a fan of the burn. Dragon Pulse, that's fine. Barely live it. All right, so we're gonna trade here. We're gonna trade. That's fine. One less switch in. And we've gotten the Rotom really low. Oh, we lived. That may or may not be a good thing. As long as you go into something faster than this, which isn't hard to do, then you can go ahead and knock it out. It is Bisharp. Okay. Are you faster than this? Yeah, Bisharp's slower. I'm gonna Will-O-Wisp just to go around the Sucker Punch. And it negates a Sword Stance. So yeah, I think this is fine. Yeah, so it's basically as if the Sword Stance didn't happen. And so now you're gonna be taking Burn and Life Orb. And I go down to my own Burn. And that gives me a free switch. So that's okay. That's an okay turn of events, in my opinion. And now we just go Zamazenta. Yeah, I don't think this can really touch Zamazenta at all. But, I mean, you can just go into Aegislash for free here. I'm gonna click Wild Charge. This does some damage. It covers Aegislash switch in. It covers a Rotom switch in, sort of. Yeah, Aegislash does come in here. I want to go ahead and get a little bit of damage off on this. But that being burned is huge. Okay, that does a little bit. It's not great damage, but it's some. And this thing doesn't have reliable recovery. So I'm okay with that. We could go Tornadus here, and then you turn out. I think that's a fine idea. Yeah, I think this is fine. Goes for CC again. It does hurt. It does hurt a lot, but it's okay. It's okay. It's what Regenerator's for. And this Life Orb damage is starting to rack up a lot. Do I just go ahead and U-turn, or do I knock off here? Knock off would be useful for getting rid of anything my opponent wants to do. I'm just going to U-turn here, actually. She might go Rotom. Yeah, might go Rotom. Which is definitely threatening. But Rotom, we've already gotten Rotom really low, which is going to open up Darmanitan in the late game. And I'm looking forward to that. And if we can get big damage off on this, then Zamazenta goes in too. This is the only thing really holding back Zamazenta, but it holds it back really, really well. Dracovish comes in. The big boy. I'm sure this is Scarfed. It's the most likely set. What do we want to do about this? I'm gonna go Rotom Wash. And I'm gonna attempt to burn it. Vicious Rend, this is gonna hurt. Yeah, I did. Yeah, so that's Scarfed. That's not Choice Band damage. And now it's burned. So yeah, this is kind of the idea behind this team. That's kind of the idea. Is there's a lot of physical attackers that are really, really strong, and it's just about weakening them as much as you possibly can. So I'm gonna Volt Switch here. I'll let this take the hit and then switch, or if he switches out, then I get a free switch. Okay, Vicious Rend is fine. Burned is gonna do significantly less. Okay, so we're at about 50 HP, 50%. Now we go Darm, pick this thing off. Yeah, Crash does a minimum of 70. So we're gonna click Crash. Alright, that picks this off. Very good. And then we'll figure it out from there. So my opponent's Darmanitan comes in here, which is a good switch. I'm gonna switch out. My switch-ins for this are starting to get weakened, because Giratina would have been my fire switch-in, but now that's pretty much gone. So we'll go Rotom here. Yeah, his Darmanitan is still very much a threat. Like, we can't sleep on that. Okay, does lock into Flare Blitz. Lived on one. Not that it's gonna make a big difference, but we did live. Did live on one. But so, yeah, Flare Blitz is kind of insane. Because even Tornadus... we would have to switch in and out one more time to be able to live a Flare Blitz. And then we would have to hit a Focus Blast. So it might just come down to a speed tie between Darmanitan. Between my Darmanitan and his. Well, no, actually Zamazenta can take one. Zamazenta can actually take one. So, I'm gonna click Will-O-Wisp just in case he switches out for some reason. Didn't think so. Alright, we're going Zamazenta here. That threatens this thing out. And I'm gonna click Behemoth Bash. I don't care if you switch. I'm just gonna go ahead and click it. Does switch. Okay. Aegis Slash makes sense. We're starting to get this thing weakened down, though. This animation is going to take our entire 3 minutes. Wow, that is not much damage. That is not much damage at all, and a long animation for it, too. We go back into Tornadoes here. Yeah, this 20-minute timer is going to be really rough on us. Alright, click CC again. Yep. Alright, alright. So I'm trying to think how this would play out in the end. Because I click knockoff here. I mean, Aegis Slash can only switch in one more time to Zamazenta. And then after that, Zamazenta just kind of wins. So, yeah. King Shield, that's fine. I don't really mind that. Because I'm gonna knock off something's item. And then Scarf Darmanitan just kind of goes nuts. Especially once this is gone, because then I can't be put at -1. Withdraw, alright. Into Bisharp, that makes sense. That makes sense. Alright, I'm gonna click Focus Blast here. Not bother switching out. See if we can hit it. We can, nice. Alright, so that's gone. Okay, so we established that his Darmanitan is banded, so yeah, his Darmanitan comes in. Yeah, we win the game. We win here. So I click this again and sack it. Yeah, see, he's banded. We're faster. And it's gone. And even if we missed that, we still go into our own Darmanitan and Flare Blitz 3 times and win. So it ends up not making a difference there at the end. And then I'll just click Focus Blast one more time. See if we can hit 3 in a row. Can we hit 3 in a row? Wow. That's insane that we hit 3 in a row. And that knocks out Rotom. Yeah. Yeah. Oof. 3 in a row. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. I don't know that I've ever hit 3 in a row. Yeah, and then Aegis Slash cannot take any of this. So yeah, we just knock off here, and no matter what happens, we just knock this out with any of the number of things we have left in the back. So GG to my opponent. Very good game, very well played. Team definitely gave me some trouble, but I'm pretty happy with that. Really, really cool match. So if you guys are interested in battling me using this specific tier or any tier, mind you, go ahead and hit me up on Discord or hit me up on Twitter in the DMs. My DMs are open, and that is how I schedule these. And yeah, that is the best way to battle me on the channel. So thank you again to our opponent Jay Haskell for coming on and helping me out with this. And I hope you guys will try out this tier yourself. I think it's pretty fun. I think it's competitive. I think that I can make some tweaks to it as we go on. Naganadel was one that I was considering putting in the tier. I'm still kind of borderline on Naganadel, but I think it would be fine. But I'll have to think about it just a little bit more. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. We'll see you Friday for another video, Sunday for another stream. Stay safe out there. Stay healthy. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.